Good afternoon, David. Hopefully you can hear me all right. Good to speak to you ahead of a new season, quite quickly off the back of an old one, it has to be said. Good place to start probably, given that, is injuries and availability. The last we heard, Thomas Suchet was self-isolating as a precaution. What's the latest on that situation and any other injury news you can tell us?
No, Thomas is back, all fine. I think the problem happened over in the Czech Republic. So he came back and had a couple of days where we trained him, but he was fine. He's been okay. The disappointing thing is, I think, from our point of view, is that we set on our way to play 2 games for the national team, and one of their staff tested positive, and I don't think was wearing the right equipment, so it made it really difficult for us.
You would have seen this week that it was announced that the Black Lives Matter logo is going to be replaced on the shirts this year with the No Room for Racism message. Now, I just wondered if you as a group of staff and players have discussed that and also discussed whether or not you're going to take a knee ahead of kick-off tomorrow for the next few games.
Of course we will. We're all in solidarity with with everybody who's involved in it. We don't think it's something which should be, go away. We want action for it. We want to see that everybody gets the same treatment and treated in the same way. So I think the more we can continue it, hopefully then it'll be challenged at the top end of governments all throughout the world.
It's that time of year. I've got to ask you a couple on transfers, of course. Starting with the news today that's emerged about interest in Andrei Yarmolenko from China. Can you tell us if there's anything in that?
No, I'm looking over my shoulder to see if I can get any support on it, so that gives you an idea. No, I haven't heard anything about it. We enjoy Yarma. We like him. He's made some big contributions to us at different times, so it's something I'm not aware of now.
Burnley have made it clear that their asking price for James Tarkowski is going to be around £50 million. At that sort of value, does that price a club like West Ham out of the market for someone like that? Yeah,
I'd have to say so in this market or this window it would do. I think we've all taken a little bit of a knock from the COVID situation, but we certainly have, and because of that, it would make it difficult. But we're trying to get good players. We're trying to bring in players which we think would improve the squad. We're just not going to pick willy-nilly. I want to try and pick ones which I want. And look, if Burnley are saying no and Sean says no, then I totally respect that decision. But yes, you're right that we have made a couple of offers for him.
Could you go back with another?
I don't know. I think it's a decision for the board to see if they think it's right. Obviously, we get to a limit where we feel as if we can't go much further, and obviously they'll have a price that they probably think what they would accept. But I don't know if we're close to that or not, to be honest.
Jack Wilshere's future, what's the latest there? There were some reports today that you might be looking to settle up the final year of his contract and let him leave. Any truth in that?
Well, none that I know of. Jack's got a year to go on his contract. He's here. He's been very good. I've really enjoyed working with Jack. He's trained for all his injuries, which he's supposedly had in the past. I've got to say, since the day after lockdown, he's not missed one day's training. He's been fantastic in training. So I've enjoyed having Jack, so I know nothing about it, no.
And just one final one from me. It's the first time we've had the opportunity to speak to you since Mark Noble was publicly critical of the club's decision to sell Grady Dean Garner. Now, I just wondered, as a manager, how did you deal with that situation? And is Mark's frustration over that now resolved?
I didn't have any conversation with him, but he showed a sort of real togetherness with the players. He showed what Grady Diagana meant to the players and to the club, because he was one of the boys through the academy. He was really important to us. Mark's been in that situation as well. Mark's been here, 20 years probably, and I think he just showed how he felt. So I think we're all entitled to make our opinions, I'm sure of that.
Thanks, Ben. Olivia?
Hi David, it's Olivia from...
How you doing?
Hi, just obviously it's your first full season in charge of West Ham. What are your main objectives this season?
Continued progress, steps going forward, more consistency, and I think really just building, trying to build in and move on. I think West Ham's got an incredible chance for progress to be made. I think there's room for improvement in so many departments, in so many areas. But the one I've been put in charge of to do is on the pitch. So I actually think from coming back in January, we made great improvements. And I think coming back to the club in January took us a few weeks to get going, difficult games. But certainly the run into the end of the season, I think, was very good, and we're hoping those standards continue.
Yeah, just on that, how important is getting a win against Newcastle on the opening day? Is it important you sort of carry on that end of season form and just to steady the ship and get a bit of confidence?
Yeah, I think we were probably arguably one of the form teams at the end of last season, and certainly showed better form than we've done. But I'm looking to do well. I'm looking to finish strong. I'm looking to start well. So if we can get a good start, it'll be great. The couple of years I've been here, the times I've been here, it's meant that we've had to do really well. And the position we were in when we took over to finish and get out of trouble, I think was incredible, and the way the players turned it around. But I think we're in a different mindset. We want to change that. We want to be looking to try and finish much higher up the league table, and that's their intention.
And one player that was a massive part of the end of last season was Thomas Suchet. Obviously, you spoke about him earlier. Signed permanently. How big of a player and how important is he going to be to your team going forward? And there's been people comparing him to the new Fellaini, perhaps.
The new who?
Fellaini.
Fellaini? Well, I'll tell you what. If he does as well as Fellaini done, he'll be doing okay, because he played in a lot of big games and he's made an awful lot of international caps for his country and in quite a few cup finals. So I think Thomas in many ways has got some attributes similar, but I've now had them both, so I can tell you that they're different players in different ways, but he's made a big difference to West Ham, that's for sure, just like Fellaini did to Everton when he took him there as well.
And just finally, obviously Michael Antonio finished the season absolutely brilliantly. Aller's now back fit. Do you think there could be a possible partnership that you could play them together up front? Very different strikers, but both could maybe complement each other's games really well.
Yeah, I do. I think we used it a few times last season. We had it in a couple of occasions. I think we done it. Certainly, it was done before I came in as well at Southampton. We had it in another game, I think, against Southampton as well, where we got some joy. So I think it's something. It was only probably through injury that we changed it around a little bit. But that's what happens in football quite often. You get an injury or you stumble upon something and it works. And when we lost Seb, really for the majority of the last sort of 9 games when we come back from lockdown, the players found a way. Mickey Antonio found a great way of getting his goal. So long may that continue.
Thanks, Olivia. Ian?
Hi, David. How you doing?
Good. You sitting in your Bentley?
No, in my car. How much, with such a short pre-season, how much are you hoping the form can just roll over from the end of last season and Project Restart into this season? Because the first 7 games look really difficult, and teams that West Ham didn't beat home or away last year.
Yeah, well, I agree. I think the fixture list that we've been given at West Ham is a really difficult start. But it was a bit like that when I came in. I had an incredibly difficult start when I came in, and it wasn't easy winning the games. But we did go on to beat Chelsea. We had a good draw at Manchester United. I thought we played very well at Anfield, and we're a bit unlucky not to get something for the game at Anfield. So we'll try and go into the games and we'll try and win them this time. And we'll set ourselves out to try and make that happen like we did before. But I think I would agree with you when you said that we'll get a very difficult opening run of fixtures.
Look at the transfer market. I know you're trying to sign James Tarkowski. Other perhaps targets like Matty Cash have gone elsewhere. But you've managed to hang on to Declan Rice so far. First of all, have there been any bids at all, any interest in Declan? And secondly, how much of a massive positive is that for you in West Ham?
It was always the plan that no intention was to lose Declan Rice. We had no bids, we had no inquiries. So there seemed to be an awful lot of speculation around it. So I can only tell you what I know. And no, I wouldn't have wanted to lose him anyway, because he's too big a player for us. He's so important, a big part of the squad. As I say, he's grown into it. He's been captain of West Ham already. I think he's learning a lot about leadership from Mark Noble and how that is and what we do. So I'm hoping in the future we have a an incredibly talented footballer who's got great leadership skills and is motivated to be the captain of West Ham.
You stand by what you said at the end of last season, take the Bank of England to prize him away.
Well, I hope that's the case. You know, we've still got a long time to go in the window. Maybe somebody has the Bank of England, but at the moment there's nobody showing that.
I wanted to finish by asking about Jarrod Bowen. You bought him in from the Championship for a fair bit of money last January. I thought he was absolutely outstanding, probably alongside Mikel Antonio, your best player with Declan, obviously, in Project Restart. His enthusiasm and the way he's up for the game. How much are you going to be relying on him this season? And what are your actual ambitions for a finishing spot?
Well, I agree with everything you said there. Jarrod Bowen coming out of the Championship was always a gamble. I've had loads of boys over my time I brought out the Championship, and most of them take a little bit of time to settle. You know, they don't always hit the ground running. We needed Jarrod to hit the ground running, and in January he did. Maybe not so much with the goals, and if you look at his goal scoring record over these years at Hull, you know, he was always getting 15, 14 goals every year. He was always scoring goals. So he made a few. We want him to add to his goals counts in the Premier League. And I think for him to have done so well in that alone in 6 months, also having to deal with the COVID situation where he just came into the club and we really shut down again. But his enthusiasm, his speed, his energy, he's been great around the club. And he's been a really terrific signing for us. And I hope I can get more of him because he's hungry, wants to improve, has no ego with what he's got at the moment. And for many reasons, I really enjoy working with him.